This is Picot bind off, adding beads. Isn't this pretty? Oh my gosh. There's a bead on the very end of every Picot. This is my blooming lace cowl pattern, and I'm making it a little longer this time, making a snood out of it. This is my beaded cast on, so I want to do the same thing as I bind off. And if you watched my video on how to do a Picot cast off, or excuse me, bind off, it's identical. Identical. The only difference is we're adding a bead. So we're going to do a knitted cast on. And there's two numbers for our bind off, 2 and 4. So we're going to do a knitted cast on 2 stitches and bind off 4. So we did our knitted 2 stitches. We added 2 right there. And this is where we're going to add our bead, to that very last stitch that we just added. With our little tiny, eeny weeny, little itsy bitsy crochet hook. So now we're going to bind off 4. So to do that, we knit these 2 stitches. Now this first stitch with the bead, I would suggest cinching that down, not real tight, but snugger than you normally would. We don't want that bead to move around a lot. So we knitted 1 stitch, knitted 2, bind off 1, bind off 2, go over here and bind off 3, bind off 4. See? Easy peasy. Move that last stitch over to your left hand needle. Look at that. That is so pretty. So let's do it one more time. 2 and 4 is the numbers. We're going to do a knitted cast on 2 stitches. 1. Oops, don't split your stitches. 2. So those are the 2 new stitches. That very last stitch, we're going to reach over here and grab your bead. I'm using my little crochet hook. I'm going to grab that last stitch, slip that bead, put your stitch back on the needle like it was before, and away you go. Now we're going to bind off 4. So we're going to knit that first stitch, and we're going to cinch that down just a little bit more. Knit that next stitch, bind off 1, bind off 2, bind off 3, bind off 4. Move that stitch back over here. So all your bind off stitches, you don't need to get them very tight, just like a normal bind off. The only thing I would do is when you knit that first stitch with your bead on it, I would snug it down just a little bit. Just make sure it's secure. We don't want any loosey-goosey beads slopping around, and they're not slopping. Isn't that pretty? I can't wait to finish it. Oh, this is beautiful yarn. Have fun, you guys.